Good morning, guys. Matt from Upsilon Mining. Good morning to you if you are in the morning. If you're watching this in the evening, good evening wherever you are on this spinning ball that's rotating, circulating, orbiting the sun in this solar system, rotating on an axis of 23. What is it? 23.5 degrees. Anyways, completely random thought. I wanted to talk a little bit today about crypto mining in general, investing in general, I guess, as well. I don't really have a lot to show, so I'm just going to leave my Hive OS open here. Um, and today's topic, I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about what I kind of think about crypto mining, buying crypto, buying stocks, even. And even starting most businesses. Would you guys agree that all of these activities sort of fall almost into the category of gambling? Right? Because let's say you put all your money into Apple stock hoping that it'll go up in the next 10 to 15 years. Uh, it is a gamble that it will go up, but it could also go down. You could lose money, or you might not. You might just lock your money up in there and make no money as well. So you might make no money, you might lose no money, but essentially you are just taking your money and locking it up in there and essentially gambling with it, right? So I guess kind of what I'm wondering here is, do you guys feel that crypto mining is also a gamble? I mean, okay, so we go out and we buy, let's say we spend $500 on a 3070. On the day we buy it, we're actually out $500. We're not ahead $500. I mean, we have something tangible in our hands that we can resell, but trying to get back $500 can be hard, especially if you don't sell it locally. If you're going to use something like eBay or some other online commerce system, there's always going to be fees involved. eBay takes a damn fortune out, man. If you guys ever sell on eBay, the final value fees are just, it's out of this world, absolutely out of this world. Like, I think it's like 12 to 15%. So if you're selling something that's $1,000, you're going to lose $150 just from eBay fees, and then that's even if you can get what you're asking. So the only party that really wins is eBay. I guess I could also rant a little bit here about eBay. Like eBay fees are just insane. They've gotten so bad. Like, I've used eBay since the 90s, at least late 90s, and I don't remember them charging so much. I would sell something now on eBay, and like, you look at like the amount of money you get back, like the actual money that goes into your bank account or your PayPal account, and it's like, where the hell did all the money go? You look at what you sold it for, $1,000 or whatever. eBay takes a huge chunk of that, man. It's insane. So like, buying like a GPU, for example, at $500, you go and you sell it for $500 on eBay, you've already lost the final value fee. So the best bet is, if you buy something, is to sell it locally. Personally, my plan when it comes to GPUs, and everything crashes and we're just all up, you know, S's creek, as it would say. My plan is to take all my GPUs and just create an online store using Shopify, and sell them as gaming PCs. Like, I might actually go buy custom cases from Alibaba and then pre-package them, calculate a markup, and sell them in gaming PCs and turn it into a business. Like, that's pretty much what I plan to do. Maybe Upsilon Gaming gaming PCs powered by 3090s, pre-used, pre-owned, pre-mined on GPUs, and charge enough of a markup that you can actually make the money back for the original GPU, or at least as much as humanly possible. Because then you're not just selling a GPU, you're selling something that someone could buy, like a kid can buy, or a parent could buy, or someone could just buy as a gift, and it's straight up works out of the box. They don't have to worry about installing it or whatever. And a lot of people like buying stuff. That's why, I mean, pre-made gaming PCs are a thing. I mean, that's why people buy Alienware. I mean, other than the name and all the cool LEDs and all that, people like stuff that's flashy, that works out of the box, that looks cool. People kind of like that sort of thing. So that's my plan. I mean, it's a suggestion to you guys. and maybe I'll go buy other people's GPUs for cheap and then build my gaming PCs with that. I don't know. It's kind of like a fallback plan. If I can't sell them straight up and make money, I'm not gonna like sell them on eBay and lose thousands of dollars in final value fees. Screw that. Online Shopify, start up a local business or just do it under my own business name and sell them that way. But I also want to say I feel for a lot of you guys who are buying these GPUs out of your own pocket. What I mean by that is you have a job somewhere, you're employed, like 90% of people out there, and you're just buying the money after you've already paid income tax on it. That's a huge issue as well. Like for me, I have a corporation. I'm actually doing this as a business. My line of work is actually software development. I do like mostly web, obviously Web 2.0 applications. So I build things on .NET Core, Microsoft Azure. I work with AWS sometimes, and building things in .NET and building on web applications, mobile front ends, using things like Blazor, things like Angular JS or Angular 7, whatever, things like that, right? So build full-end front web applications, back-end web APIs, mobile front ends, web APIs, RESTful APIs, web UIs, things like that, right? And I've been doing that for 20 years or so. Get back to ASP.NET, MVC, and things like that. And because of that, I started up my cloud business, FlowDynamics.ca. It sponsored this whole channel, and I'm still trying to get traction in that. So basically, what I'm trying to say is like anything related to like that business, including hardware, which the business now does crypto mining, the hardware, cloud, Azure costs. So if I were to spin up a node, for example, let's say if I wanted to, and if I actually had 32 ETH, spin up a ETH node and stake Ethereum for whatever reason, I'd be able to basically expense and write off all of those fees to do the cloud hosting. So let's say I got a VM or something, and I host it on Azure, I'll be able to now expense those as business activity expenses, and that's completely illegal and copacetic according to the CRA in Canada, right? You can write off anything that the cost of businesses, and things that are like physical assets you can depreciate over time, right? So a GPU you might not be able to write it all off when I first buy it, but every single year that thing is technically depreciates per year every single year, and it's done using certain depreciation type tables and factors. My accountant knows all about this, and yours should too if you have a corporation. But basically what I'm saying is I'm not taking a huge gigantic hit by buying that out of my own personal pocket. Okay, so for me, buying a lot of these GPUs, even the Jazz miner I purchased, was from the mining profits that I made from GPU mining. I should very carefully let you guys know that I was not sponsored by Jazz miner. I purchased Jazz miner out of my own volition and my own hedging the bet. Okay, which goes back to the topic of this channel. Or not this channel, this YouTube video here, this specific video, that crypto mining is gambling. Starting a business is gambling. Like if I went and started a pizza restaurant and opened up a pizza restaurant down on Main Street, right? Open up a pizza restaurant and started, trying to compete with, the Pizza Hut that's, around the corner. That's a gamble, because like I might have, a few $100,000 saved up, so I might take 100 G's to like get the signage, register the business, order all the pizza boxes, all the ingredients, set up contracts with suppliers to deliver this stuff, hire people, uniforms, advertising, all this stuff. That's all stuff that comes out of pocket at first, right? So starting a business is a gamble, right? It's a gamble. There's no guarantee here. And same with this. Crypto mining is essentially a gamble, right? I mean, it's a business to me, and I mean, if you only have maybe one or two GPUs, then it could just be considered a hobby, but it's a gamble as well. The only time crypto mining wouldn't be a gamble is if you have a GPU in a gaming PC already, and you're playing games on it, and you're like, oh, you didn't even know about crypto mining, and then your friend told you about it, and you figured out, okay, well, I can mine on this thing and make a few bucks. You might make $100 a month or something, whatever. So that's not really a gamble, like theoretically from that perspective, right? But if we go into buying GPUs, buying ASICs, buying hardware, knowing full well that your intent is to generate wealth or try to generate wealth and try to collect these coins and build up a business, build up something, for yourself and your family or whatever, then becomes it's a business, right? And businesses are inherently gambles, right? There's no guarantee if anything, right? Like same thing, going back to the business analogy, right? Let's say I open up a factory that makes bread, right? And I hire a bunch of people, I buy a bunch of equipment, and I buy this really expensive, giant, industrial-sized mixer. One of those huge things that you could fall into, right? You see them on, how it's made, whatever. You see these giant mixers turning like, I don't know, like 1,000 gallons of dough or whatever the hell it is. I mean, if I go buy one of those things for like $1 million, that's hedging a bet because like I haven't made that $1 million back, right? But you're hedging the bet on is that the supply, the demand for your product or your service will be at least the same now, or it'll increase into the future, right? You're hedging a bet, just like me. It's no different than buying the Jazz Miner or buying an ASIC. You're hedging the bet, and no business makes money up front off of $1 million pieces of hardware or equipment. Like you're hedging a bet. So once again, you got to think of this as a business. And you know what? Businesses do fail. They fail quite often. And the hope is that it won't fail, right? And then when it fails, hoping that you don't go under right with it as well, right? Like for me personally, I make enough money doing software development contract wise that if I lost everything that I just put into GPU mining like tomorrow, like say everything burns and blows up, which won't happen, but let's say it does, I lose everything. I'll be able to rebuild everything I put into it within maybe a year and a half. It's not a big deal, and it's not gonna hurt me like my day to day, paying my mortgage, feeding my kids, things like that. Because I kind of hedged a bet that I make enough that I make way more than would hurt me, even with the huge investment of 100+ K per year. And considering that I did it all through a business, these are all business losses, which would be written up against the business, right? So like, if I spend 100K on GPUs, expense it, and depreciate all that over say 5 years, and the business doesn't make that money back, that is shown as a loss in the future, which you can use to your own benefit to do something else or to start your next venture or whatever, right? It just works in a positive favor in that way. But if you go and you spend $100,000 from your house, or you spend $100,000 after you've been paid, from your employer, that's worse because like none of that's depreciated. None of that's like, so if you have GPUs, you have a lot of GPUs. I strongly urge you to register this as either a sole proprietorship or corporation, and do it as a business. Speak to your accountant. Obviously, I'm not offering any financial advice. I strongly advise you to do that, especially if you got a lot put into this, right? So that's kind of my recommendations from that standpoint. In terms of gambling, there's lots of gambles here, and it's really cool. It's a kind of a moving target. It's a dynamic moving target, right? Basically, we have Ethereum that's coming to an end. Everyone keeps saying August. Who knows? It might even be delayed past that. And then after that, these ASICs can only mine Ethereum Classic, right? Or ETCHASH algorithm. And I looked into that. Some people were wondering if, okay, well, the Ethereum Classic team were looking at changing their algorithm, so these ASICs are basically doorstops, and that's not necessarily true. ASICs for like the Jazz Miner, older ASICs that were mining Ethereum, can mine ETHASH. Okay, that's a different algorithm than ETCHASH. I think one is SHA-3 based or something like that. There's a difference between the algorithms, but this miner specifically, the Jazz Miner, and a lot of these iPolo and whatnot miners, I'm not advocating for miners at all. I'm just saying that yes, you should be able to mine on these after, because they already did the switch to ETCHASH, and this supports ETCHASH and ETHASH, right? So let's say this miner existed before that Thanos hard fork, I think it was back in 2020, because they had a bunch of 51% attacks. That would still be fine back then because it uses ETHASH, which is the same as actual Ethereum. But when they switched, they went to ETCHASH, and that's why you see ETCHASH not being the algorithm. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, like, so if you look here, let's take a look at this one. Okay, so here we are on the overclocks. You see that Ethereum Classic is ETCHASH. That's the algorithm, okay? And if you look at some other algorithms, let's take one that is mining Ethereum, which is most of them. Okay, ETHASH. Ethereum is ETHASH. Ethereum Classic is ETC hash, not to be confused. Okay, so they'll be fine. They'll be fine at least to 2028 because the only shit, drop my mouse. The only other limitation, basically, let me grab my mouse once. All right, the only other limitation is basically the DAG file size, which is basically the ledger, right? It's like everyone has a whole copy of all the ledger. You require about 5 gigabytes to store that. No one's like the 5 gigabyte thing and the 4 gigabyte thing, the size of that DAG file or whatnot isn't. I don't think that's like a purposeful decision that's being done by the Ethereum teams or the teams behind these projects. It's just the fact that as a project is used more and more, the more transaction, more blocks exist in there, the file becomes bigger just because of natural growth, right? So that's why they grow over time, and it's predicted to grow past 5 gigabytes in August for regular Ethereum. And that's not someone deciding they're pushing some buttons. Oh, we're gonna go to 6, we're gonna go to 8. No, it's the actual DAG, the ledger growing over time. And basically, when the mining is happening on the GPUs or the ASICs or whatnot, this DAG file is basically like a reference file for the whole blockchain, and then that's how it does the calculations for hashing, right? It does the hashing to find the specific they call it a nonce in the algorithm to actually complete the block and find the block discover block. So they need to have that table to do that, right? And everyone ideally would have the same copy of that DAG, and then that's how like the validations and the consensus works essentially, right? I validated this block, you validated, like there's like so many rigs or miners, I guess, validated a block, and then it becomes valid. That's how it works, and that's why the 50% rule is like if you flood with more than 51%, then essentially you can crash a network. Essentially, crash a network by making it like invalidating blocks and things like that, which aren't really true. So it makes it possible for me not to be able to hack and send myself a million ETH, right, through this consensus layer and whatnot. So, anyways, I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Do you think it's gambling? Do you think? I mean, it's not as like abrupt as walking into a casino and dropping $1,000 at the slot machines. I think those are significantly less calculated risks, right? Because you're just throwing chance of the win when you're throwing money in a slot machine or playing, roulette or whatever, right? You're just hoping it's going to land on a certain color or whatever. You can't really know. It's very random. But when it comes to like this type of stuff, it's more, we have information, right? Just like the stocks, we have information to make a decision, and we only have so much information, and a large part of that is also going to just be luck as well. So, like people have been, panicking for the years, selling mining rigs to get their money back from the GPUs because Ethereum was supposed to go, to merge, like years ago, never did. And those people played it safe and they sold everything, and they probably ended up buying their GPUs back anyways, which is crazy, right? And there's the risk component because there's the unknown. That's why the Ethereum team is so elusive about like when the actual release is. Yes, there's a project and things need to be bug free and whatnot, but there's also the issue of we don't want to give away too much information. Kind of like considered trading almost, I would think, to some extent, not 100%, but I guess kind of like that. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below. Do you think that crypto mining is gambling? Do you think it's the same level of risk as a business? Businesses have huge failure rates, like 90. What the hell? It's like 90+% or higher. Most businesses will fail within the first 5 years. So, I mean, are the odds better than the standard, laws of, rules of business, I guess, failing that high as well? I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Comment below and like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. See you later. Bye.